Back in January 2023, the Church of England's bishops proposed that priests should be able to offer blessings to same-sex couples, which was criticised by several of the Church's evangelical associations. This initially did not include the HTB network, whose recent leaders, Nicky, Gumbel and Archie, had previously avoided sharing their stances on the subject to avoid internal disunity. Both men, however, would later publicly ally with other Church of England evangelicals to criticise the bishop's efforts to get their proposal adopted. So in this video, we will briefly look at how HTB's leadership has historically engaged the question of homosexuality in the Church, their response to the bishop's proposal, and how the HTB network at large has reacted. In 2017, the Church of England's House of Bishops called for a church-wide discernment process to try and foster conversations on sexuality, relationships and marriage amongst church members, which was released in 2020 under the name Living in Love and Faith.
Living in Love and Faith is a library of resources. There's a book, there's a series of podcasts, there's real-life video stories, and there's a course.
Church of England churches were encouraged to utilise these resources before giving feedback to their bishops, who would then discuss how to respond. 9 months later, in January 2023, the bishops published their report, with its headline proposal to maintain that holy matrimony is between one man and one woman for life, yet create a new resource to offer clergy ways to affirm and celebrate same-sex couples in church, including prayers of dedication, thanksgiving, and for God's blessing. Shortly after, Evangelical Church of England organisations began to issue public statements criticising the proposal. For example, in their formal response, the conservative evangelical CEEC stated they were grieved and dismayed at the proposal, believing that, if pursued, it would create further division and broken fellowship within the Church of England and a greater tearing of the fabric of the worldwide Anglican Communion. An initial exception was the HTB network, the Church of England's largest charismatic evangelical association. This is consistent with the strategy towards the debate on homosexuality in the Church, which was pursued by its former leader Nicky Gumbel, which is documented by scholar Andrew Atherstone in his book Repackaging Christianity. Atherstone states that in contrast to his predecessor, Gumbel's strategy towards homosexuality as vicar from 2005 in a very different and fast-moving moral climate was a studied silence. He highlights, for example, that in Gumbel's 1994 book, Searching Issues, a chapter addressing homosexuality was absent from its reprint in 2013. He further cites an interview Gumbel gave to The Independent in 2008, where he revealed he had declined to appear on the BBC's topical debate programme Question Time because they'll ask me questions, and if I say certain things, I'll alienate half the churches quite unnecessarily. This strategy appeared to continue under his successor Archie, as suggested by an interview with Premier Christianity where he stated, "I'm not going to say my own view because I want people to be able to be here and find a unity in holding different views." However, in the months following the bishop's report, both men and two other senior HTB leaders, Sarah Jackson and Jago Wynne, publicly allied with representatives from other Church of England associations, including the CEEC, who were critical of how its bishops sought to get their proposals adopted. As part of this informal partnership, dubbed as the Alliance, all four leaders signed a letter in July 2023 protesting the bishop's preference to use canons B42 or B5 of the Church's constitution, which would require the proposal's approval from only the archbishops. This letter asserted that such action would be unlawful, unconstitutional, and illegitimate, as the prayers represented a substantial change in a form of service. Instead, the letter argued, the proposal should go through Canon B2, which would require a 2/3 majority vote in favour from General Synod, the Church's legislative body. This would be followed by a series of further letters to the bishops, which Gumbel and his colleagues would also sign. This included one in December 2023 warning them to delay the commending of the prayers until the complete package of pastoral guidance and reassurance were presented to Synod, and one in May 2024 informing them of reservations made by 80 ordinands towards the proposal. This departure from Gumbel's strategy, led by Gumbel, has led others in the HTB network to publicly distance themselves from the leadership's actions. Shortly after the July 2023 letter, a former church warden of HTB Queensgate emailed Archie Coates on behalf of several parishioners at said church who sought to strongly disassociate themselves from the letter. The email, reproduced by the Church Times, contended that the letter was a cleverly worded delaying tactic specifically designed to frustrate a decision which has already been voted upon, and was a prolonging of discrimination by procedural default. It further stated that there were several members of the congregation, including some on the staff team, who were now evaluating whether they could, in all conscience, continue to worship within the parish. And, following the December 2023 letter, the Church Times reported that there were other HTB pastors alarmed by the leadership's unexpected foray into church politics on the issue of same-sex relations. One pastor, speaking anonymously, claimed that not all HTB plants sit happily in this new environment and many are keeping quiet out of fear of repercussions. Another, also anonymous, stated that there were many in the network who still had a conservative view of issues of marriage, however was staggered by ill-judged, badly written, mistimed statements which do nothing for us who serve and work day to day in parishes. This pastor further commented that many in the HTB network don't like how organisations like the CEEC, the representatives of which the leadership allied with, was dealing with the situation and how they were seemingly representing all evangelicals. It is probable that instances of internal disagreements will occur again, as Gumbel and his colleagues, at the time of making this video, remain members of the alliance, which continues to actively oppose the bishop's proposal for same-sex blessings in the Church of England. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel for more content.